Oh, no, it is.
Welcome to the annual meeting for the Franklin County Economic Development Corporation. It's January 11th, 2023. Maria, could you do roll call?
Sherry Boye,
Yes.
James Ellis,
Present.
Stephen Erman,
Here.
Madeline Fleury. Here. Archie McKee,
Here.
Nate Manette.
Here.
We have a vacant seat on the board. Also present, Jeremy Evans, Maria Bourgeois, Paul Ellis, and Justice Martin.
Thank you, Maria. Madeline, as the chair of the governance committee, could you discuss nominations for officers for the EDC?
Yes, the governance committee met and last week, and these were the nominations that we're putting forth. For Chairman Jim Ellis, Vice Chair Sherry Boye, Secretary Madeline Fleury, Assistant Secretary Steve Erman, and Treasurer Archie McKee.
Great. Are there any other nominations that board members would like to make for officers for the EDC? Hearing none, I will take a motion to approve this entire slate of officers as has been presented.
I'll make the motion.
Madeline, okay. Could I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Nate. All in favor?
Aye.
We're doing, maybe I should have done roll call, but all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay. The officers have been selected. Chairman, I'll turn the remainder of the annual meeting over to you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Maria, would you do the roll call for the regular meeting of the EDC?
Can we adjourn this one first?
Yeah, Steve will move to adjourn the annual meeting for the EDC.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, roll call for the regular meeting of the EDC. Sherry Boye,
Present.
James Ellis,
Here.
Stephen Erman,
Here.
Madeline Fleury,
Here.
Archie McKee,
Here.
Nate Manette.
Here.
We have a vacant seat. And we have Jerry also present, Jeremy Evans, Maria Bourgeois.
Do we freeze? Froze.
What? Did you say justice? You say justice?
We're frozen. Okay, here we are.
There we go.
Back.
Everybody froze at the same time. It was
Like it looks like
something in
hear
the
us?
air. Did it again.
It is again. Let's see.
Oh,
Catches
there
up.
Hello,
We back?
we're here.
Okay. You
Says
guys
our
froze on
connection
us?
is unstable, so FYI.
All right, I think you're,
Did you add Justice Martin, Maria?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
present. Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Public comment. Anyone, public comment? Hearing none, we'll now move on to approval of the previous, oops. Is there any additions to the agendas? Additions or deletions?
Make a motion that we have an executive session.
I
Are we
don't
doing
know.
that?
Yeah, we need to, it says executive session as needed,
If
but
needed.
it would be my hope that the board would consider holding an executive session for the purpose of the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we have an executive session for the reasons stated by the executive director.
Thank you. All those in favor of adopting that as part of the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
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 Did we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I thought I heard.
Yep.
Very good. Nate seconds. And we already have an approval. So add that to the agenda. Now, we're talking about the approval of the previous meeting minutes, December 14, 2022. Any additions, corrections, deletions? If not, we'll accept a motion to approve the previous minutes of December 14, 2022. Motion?
So moved. Archie.
Okay, Archie moves, second.
I'll second.
Second, Madeline. Any discussion? If not, then we will adopt, we will have a motion to, we'll have a vote, please, on the approval of the previous minutes of December 14, 2022. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And one abstention, Steve Erman, because I was not at that meeting.
Ditto.
Bills and communications, Jeremy?
None to report.
Committee reports, we'll, if there's anything that a committee has to report, we'll take it, but there is really no business that the committees have had a chance to do yet. So we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Treasurer's report?
The EDC was one of the organizations that we haven't made any investments yet in the Treasury Direct. They required some additional verification, which required a form to be mailed into them, and they process in the order to that they're received, and it could be up to 12 weeks before our account is accessible. So
How much were you putting in there?
I'd have to look at the balance, but probably about $500,000.
And Treasury Direct, just point of information, Paul, Treasury Direct is it's a fairly liquid fund for
So-
us. It's invested in T-bills and
Treasury Direct allows you to invest in multiple types of securities, including bonds, long-term bonds, short-term bonds. What's been proposed here is that we only, our organizations will only invest in T-bills, which have maturities of less than 1 year. They have a variety of maturities. They have a 4-week, 8-week, 13-week, 17-week, 26-week, and a 52-week. My investments will be primarily limited to 4 to 17-week investment periods.
And the return on those estimated compared to putting it into a
I mean, obviously, they change weekly, depending upon what's going on in the market, and with the Federal Reserve. We just did a 17-week on some of our CDC funds. It was only $6,000, but we got 4.7% on that. On the ones that were done through the IDA, I did a 13-week and an 8-week, and they're about 4.52%.
substantially more than you would get if it was a bank CD, obviously. It's good. Thanks.
Paul, question, when we buy in, do we buy in at the interest rate of the date that we purchased? Or does the interest rate rise and fall?
So what they do is, if we, for instance, you'll see the 500,000 that we did, and again, we're crossing over to the IDA, but we did 500,000 with the IDA. They don't actually take the full 500,000. They discount the note, so the interest is recognized on the note. So they'll only take out, for instance, 494,000, and we'll get paid 500,000 when it matures in 13
5,000.
weeks. No,
5,000, not 500, right?
no, it was a $500,000
Oh, I thought you meant 500,000 interest.
No.
That would be
but-
fabulous.
That, yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah,
Oh, whoever
Hurry up.
has it, I'm in.
Sorry about that.
hurry up.
So they'll take, for instance, even numbers, 495 was what they took out of the checking account. When they pay us back, they'll give us the full 500,000.
Oh, wow.
So-
Terrific.
It's good. Thank you.
And one other thing that I'll mention also that we're going to be doing differently is, and again, I work with the auditor. I try to make sure that we're complying with GAAP and how we do our accrual. So for instance, when that when the Treasury Direct matures, I'm actually recognizing the interest that we are earning on a monthly basis. So I'm recording that interest every month. And it's the same thing as like we just paid a whole bunch of tax bills for the Bombay plant. That normally would have looked like we spent, a lot more in January because we pay our tax bills, we pay our insurance policies. So it looks like we have an abnormal amount of expense in 1 month. And under GAAP, under an accrual policy, we actually have to distribute that expense equally throughout the year. So that we're going to be using prepaid expenses, and then every month I'll do journal entries. So you'll see a more stable expense basis on those type of invoices. And the same on interest earnings on the CD, on this, I keep saying CDs, Treasury Direct. If we did a 17-week, I'm not going to wait until 17 weeks to record the interest. It'll be actually recorded every month.
But will it post every month?
Right.
It does?
With them?
Yeah.
It doesn't show up on their statement, but that's how it has to be recorded.
Very good. Questions, anyone? Any further questions? We now are in a position where we can take a motion to adopt the treasurer's report.
Oh, I had a question on the treasury.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. So I see a line item under loans receivable, allowance for loans, negative 527,741.45. Was that an adjustment? Was it a correction?
So the allowance for loans is still a work in progress with the auditor in that we need to make sure that it's in the right spot on the balance sheet. Okay. But what we have to do is we actually have to recognize the potential for loss on those loans. So a portion of that is, they do a calculation every year at audit. And they determine that based upon whether it's industry standard or our experience or experience with IDAs in general, they come up with a formula calculation that determines how much we should have set aside for an allowance for bad loans.
Any further questions? If not, we'll accept the motion to adopt the treasurer's report.
Steve will move.
Moved by Steve, second. Second,
Sherry.
Jerry. No further discussion. We'll assume the motion's been moved. All in favor of adopting the treasurer's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. CEO report here, Jeremy.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Yep.
For the EDC specifically, I think there's three items I wanted to discuss. First, as I've been updating everyone, we've been working with the county on a broadband effort to find addresses that aren't recognized yet by the Federal Communications Commission and make sure that those are challenged so that they end up on the national broadband map. We've been working on this through half of December, and we'll be working on it this week also. And there'll be some ongoing stuff, but the big effort has culminates this week. So working with town supervisors and Lindy Ellis and in Saranac Lake, and also with the Development Authority of the North Country, who provided some mapping assistance. I can't remember the number offhand, but it's well over 100 addresses that will be submitting for challenge. And so it's been a good effort, and we'll provide a real reporting after this week on the results from that.
It's all year-round homes, correct?
It's
Yeah.
it's not just homes. It could be any place that it could be a business. It could be a dairy barn, actively used dairy barn, anywhere that you would reasonably expect internet would be desired. So yeah, a hunting camp that doesn't have electricity wouldn't count, but most other habitable structures should count. Okay, the next is the 2018 New York Main Street grant program that we were awarded back in 2018, towards the end of 2018, for facade and commercial improvements in downtown Saranac Lake and uptown Park Street area of Tupper Lake. You can see some of the status of that in Rachel's grant report, but I just wanted to let everybody know that that ended on December 31st. There'll be no more activity. All the construction is wrapped up, and the only thing left for us to do is to do some monitoring, where we just give feedback to the state on our paperwork and what the results were. But it's great to have that finally closed out. It took a while, and then it got slowed down even further by COVID. So to just clear something off feels really good. And I want to just publicly express appreciation for Rachel's efforts to bring that through the home stretch.
Great.
Finally, from February 12th to 14th, there is a conference called Small Communities, Big Opportunities that is through the North Country Center for Businesses in Transition, of which we are a partner of. And the main focus of the conference is to connect folks who own businesses who may be thinking of retiring and wanting to sell those businesses in next several years, and learn more about some of the best practices for preparing for that. And also folks who may be interested in finding a business to get involved in and purchase. So it's at the Hotel Saranac in Saranac Lake. It's on the 12th through the 14th. A couple of us staff will be attending, but if any board members would like to attend some or all of it, we can make that arrangements. It will also be available. I think some of the sessions, if not all of them, will be streamed virtually. So if you want to be able to just pop in on some of them. I mean, it's really geared towards these people that are, entrepreneurs that are either retiring or would be entrepreneurs, but this is obviously an important priority for us as an organization. So any board members that want to check in on it, please let Russ know if you'd like to attend. So I just wanted to mention that. That's my report for December. Any questions?
Thanks, Jeremy. Any questions? There being none, we'll assume we can move on to new business. First item of new business is the resolution 2023-01 to adopt the following policies: mission statement, disposition of property policy, and the procurement policy. We've already adopted these for the IDA. Therefore, if there are no questions, we can do a roll call vote on a motion to adopt these policies.
I'll make the motion to adopt as I did in the last meeting.
Motion by Steve to adopt policies 2023-01. Second,
I'll second it.
There we go.
Did you do it?
Yes, you did.
thank you. Any discussion? There being none, we'll move on to a roll call vote. Maria?
Okay, so resolution 2023-01, adopting the required policies for the EDC. Sherry Boye,
Yes.
James Ellis,
Yes.
Stephen Erman,
Yes,
Madeline Flurry,
Yes.
Archie McKee,
yes,
Nate Manette,
Yes.
duly adopted.
Thank you, everybody. Anything further? We will entertain a motion, I think, at this point to go into executive session.
it'd be, did we do that motion before? We did a
Well,
motion.
the
I'll make
question
a-
was
Yeah,
if
we need
needed,
to-
so I'm just gonna
I'll
verify.
make, if we need, I'll make the motion to go into executive session. I think Nate had earlier seconded.
second,
Archie, second.
Good.
Okay, let's take a look at the time.
Did he give the purpose?
Hmm?
Did he give the purpose?
He did not.
Well, he did the last time.
that's right, sorry.
The room. I didn't see this invitation from Justice to go to his oath of office ceremony. It came, I just didn't pick it up on the email.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I'll send him a note.
That's funny. And. So,
We made it.
They might be frozen.
you put in the end?
Thanks, guys.
Okay, Paul, Thursday, 30?
Next Thursday. Sure.
Okay, we're back in session. We have public comments next. Any public comments on the EDC meeting here? If not, we'll assume that we're ready to adjourn this part of the meeting for the EDC. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Steve?
By Steve, second. Second.
I'll second.
Second, Madeline. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
nay. Date of the next meeting will be February 8th. You'll receive the information by email, as Maria always does. God bless her.